Hello. Now we're going to look at a slightly different scenario involving an adverse cut. Hello. Now we're going to look 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello. Now we're going to look at a slightly different scenario that involves an adverse shock to short-run aggregate supply. Alternative 1, again, the adverse shock. You'll see over here on the graph that the RT curve shifts to the left. Why is that? Because when we have an adverse shock, the central bank responds by restraining prices. It wants to keep inflationary expectations in line for the future. You can also see here that the Phillips curve shifts to the left, means that we have higher inflation, but with the higher real interest rates, we're going to have lower output gap. So we have this unfortunate combination here of what we call stagflation, lower output, higher inflation. And that's because we had an adverse supply shock. Now, it is possible for the central bank to neutralize this situation. So let's suppose that in alternative 2, we have an adverse supply shock, but then we have a discretionary loosening. The central bank says that they do not want the economy to suffer such a large recession even when prices go up. So you can see here that when we have a discretionary loosening, the relevant RT curve shifted back here to the right, discretionary loosening, and you can see what happens is that we've calibrated this so that the output gap goes just almost back to zero. We've almost completely neutralized the adverse effect of the supply shock. But you'll also notice here that because we're stimulating demand by lowering interest rates, we're going to have an even higher rate of inflation. So the question we have to ask, is this a good policy for the central bank to be doing? And the answer has to lie in how inflationary expectations are formed, whether they are sticky or whether the public has a great deal of confidence in the central bank's long-run inflation target. If the public doesn't have enough confidence, doesn't have sufficient confidence in the central bank's commitment to its long-run target, inflationary expectations can be sticky. Once inflation has gone up, these sticky the expectations will stay up, and this means that at some point in the future, the central bank will have to raise interest rates even more to bring the inflation rate back down. So in that sense, this is a much more difficult situation for the central bank than might initially appear.